Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Fair Deal Democrats podcast. I'm your host, Josh Kilroy. I'm a longtime political consultant, campaign manager, offering commentary on some of the hot political topics of our day. And no topic is hotter right now than AI, artificial intelligence. There's a lot to say about this issue, um, about whether it's a bust, whether it's the future of mankind, whatever. There's hype and there's a lot of doubt about the hype as well. Uh, I'm going to keep this conversation focused on two laws that we should pass right now at the federal level to protect us as we move into the AI era. So, the key thing for me, my priority in thinking about all of this is respecting our privacy, our data, and our ability to communicate without the fraud that AI can produce, producing deep fakes of people, for instance. Perhaps you've seen the video of Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt fighting. That technology is in people's hands right now. So, the first law that I want to talk about was initially proposed by Daniel Dennett several years ago before he died. And it's basically just a law against what he called counterfeit people. Um, he wrote an article in The Atlantic talking about, ever since money was created, it was just simply understood that counterfeiting that money was a serious crime, not just a serious crime against society, not just a specific individual, because it undercut the value of for everyone. It undermined faith in the system. And now that we have the capacity to produce deep fakes, to simulate somebody's voice, all these things that, it can be used by scammers. You can get a phone call from a chatbot that sounds like a relative or like a celebrity, and it makes it easier for them to defraud people. And certainly, like I said, we've seen with the videos and whatnot that you can make very persuasive deep fakes. And YouTube is already flooded with these deep fakes. I was reading Paul Krugman this morning, and he was talking about these videos of him on YouTube where it looks like him and it sounds like him, but it is not him. And somebody was complaining about seeing George Will videos with very un-George Will-like content. But this is our present. This is not in the realm of future sci-fi. This is already happening. And we do not need to be passive recipients of this. We do have the capacity to demand that our lawmakers take action on our behalf. They can ban deep fakes. They can ban any attempts to simulate a voice or something for commercial purposes without consent. It's crazy that we don't even have this law already. People have been advocating it for several years. Gary Marcus, who's been just an indispensable resource in thinking about AI issues, had a Substack piece earlier this week talking about this and the urgent need to be vigilant on this. And I'll just quote him here. Tell your representatives today, not tomorrow, that we must pass federal laws forbidding machine output from being presented as humans, and that we must develop the means to enforce these laws. No use of the first person by chatbots, and no more deep fakes of living people's voices and images without their express consent, aside from carve-outs for obvious parodies. All of this has gone too far, too fast. Generative AI systems, he continues, may still struggle to reason, but they were built for mimicry. And their mimicry has gotten to the point where we must do something now. I could not agree more. What are we doing in Washington that they can't take action on this right now. The second law that we need to pass is federal protections for people's biometric information. And this is something that the states have been playing around with a little bit. Biometric information is just data that is unique to each individual's person. It's their fingerprints, it's the dimensions of their body, the color of their eyes, all of that stuff, the width of the nostril, any of that information that is unique to your body. AI already has a good deal of this information. They are using it to train their systems. It presents an immediate risk for just a total lack of privacy and respect in the individual. Like I said, the states have been taking action. Illinois is the leader in this. So they have a very strict biometric information protection law. And what makes Illinois unique in this is that their law comes with a private right of action. That means if you find just ChatGPT or Anthropic has, usurped your data in a way that's unlawful, you can sue them and collect damages. Other states have laws protecting this information, but they have a public right of action. Essentially, that means AGs, attorney generals, have to take the lead in collecting damages. A state like Texas has a law, but they also have an attorney general like Ken Paxton. Nobody should have to depend on Ken Paxton to protect their right to privacy here. What would make a good federal law? What should we look for in good legislation on this? First, consent to the information must come prior to collection. Any company that wants to collect your data should have to ask you first in plain language. Not one of these sort of little boxes that comes up with some gibberish that you have to click on before you can access the services. You should be able to know what's being collected and why. Second, a good federal law should minimize the amount of data that they collect. You shouldn't have to give your gym access to your complete biometric information forever just so you can scan your phone on the scanner at the door to get in. It should be limited to strictly what information they need for their purpose, and they should discard that information when it is no longer needed. If you quit your gym membership, for instance, they should be required to delete all of your information. Third, legislation should have real security requirements. A federal law should require robust security standards, encryption, access controls, regular vulnerability assessments, and it should hold the companies accountable for when they fail to protect the data they've been entrusted with. Finally, federal law should have a private right of action, just like the Illinois law. Individuals should be able to take action to protect breaches of their data. This is really where the AI and the other high-tech companies draw the line. And this makes breaching your data very expensive for them, and they are willing to spend whatever it takes to lobby against this provision. But it's really the key to successful enforcement. Otherwise, the federal government, state governments have shown they are far too prone to regulatory capture to effectively enforce laws protecting your privacy. So there's a lot more to say. I'm frustrated that the progressive left has not picked up on this, that they've grabbed the part of the AI stick around data centers instead of privacy. Data centers are a different beast. They have their own issues, but in the long run, we're going to have data centers. And in the long run, we are not going to have our privacy if we do not pass these two pieces of legislation now. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me today. I have a lot more to say about AI in the immediate future, but today, just for today, protect our privacy, ban counterfeits, and regulate the accessing of our biometric information. Thank you for joining us. Have a good day.